Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Super Robots. It's time to leave. I'm Drunken Dan. It's time to leave.
So I did actually look into it, and it seems Wonder Woman did rape it. Wonder Woman did indeed rape a guy in 2021.
Oh, good.
So
Oh, good.
does that make you feel good? I haven't watched it because it's not available to me.
DC, you had one job. You made one good Wonder Woman film. What?
Well, also apparently they made Maxwell Lord into not Trump, which feels a bit obvious.
A lot of things are doing that right now.
Everything.
Yeah, I mean they did that with Lex Luthor too, and
Even Lex Luthor was not Trump before Trump.
It was just they took the idea, but they made Lex Luthor like an actual character.
He started being actually Trump. He started saying things that he goes, oh, this is fake news, and he started holding political events at his own hotels, and I know he was always theoretically not Trump because practically every businessman in the last 20 years has been not Trump, because that's just, I guess, the stereotype.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I'm not, as I said, I'm not really going to talk about the movie because I've only just sort of looked up to see if the things that I'd heard were true, and they were. I was like, oh,
well.
And then it's just kind of upset, but definitely it does seem a lot of people are upset about it.
I mean, yeah, considering what the fuck happens, yes.
Oh, not even just the rape, or the technical rape. I just mean the overall film seems people don't like it, and I guess
I think they made it knowing that was kind of the end of the franchise.
I don't think
as far as their big interconnected Justice League universe. I know they're doing other stuff, but clearly they were well, it's not going to work out the way we thought, so whatever. Let's just do something.
Real quick, just pausing the topic for 1 second. So I can get my grade for attack management. Should I get the the EXC boost, the burst, the range burst, or the acceleration burst?
Probably range or acceleration.
Yeah, because the one's a usable once per map. The other one are just flat upgrades. One is when a unit has has a 3 EXE, hits 3 EXE, they gain +1 on all non-map attacks, and acceleration is +1 movement.
I think range is better.
Alright, go with range. I think I went with acceleration in my personal one, just to move people
they're both
more.
Fine, but I also
a burst isn't really that great.
Yeah, that's a bit pointless.
Because you get it's any pilot with EX3, so that either means that's more situational. I know later on you'll get with how many enemies show up on the screen, more people have a ton of EXE, but it's a lot more situational, I think. Alright, well, let me put the kills in, because I am going to try and get some people, too. Oh, Sagiri. Oh, I'll have to do it next time. I don't have the funds to buy Sagiri's Ace Pile, I don't think, but I'll check. But she does qualify for Ace, because she's 55 at the moment.
That's good.
Let's get Ruri up, because I know for one of the maps, in order to unlock a map, I gotta have her and Akito to a certain amount of kills. I think it's 80 between the two of them.
Something like that. It's usually pretty easy, just because Akito does you're gonna hit me. No, it's fine. My dodge rate is stupid high.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, because of him. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, his dodge rate is crazy high.
So I realized this. So I found a solution to my Fa dilemma in my own playthrough, because I'm stupid and forgot that I can just do this. I just pulled her out of her crappy Methus mobile suit and threw her in the Mark II. Because the real G's is rough. It's not. It's not bad, but it's rough.
It's a Mook unit, so who cares?
I'd rather use the Mark II, even though the real G's is supposed to be better than a Mark II, which I think is funny.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? It's a Mook unit. Mook units are always worse than things that are even slightly more customized or unique. So yeah, Mark II is technically a Mook unit, but there's only like 2, 3 Mark IIs in existence.
Right.
Versus all of the battalion of Reedzis that exist.
Wait, oh yeah, because in later series there was more of them, even though in Counterattack there was one.
Yeah.
And
Well, weren't there more than... Weren't they just a generic Mook unit of the whole, like...
No, there was one. Amuro pilots it at the start. Then the blonde pilot pilots it and then gets killed. And then Chan pilots a half-destroyed version of it and then gets killed. Because apparently she couldn't pull out a fucking Jagan.
Which is kind of ridiculous. It's like let's take the thing that's like has one leg and like
instead of just a Jagan.
And then she somehow destroys the Alpha Azale with those 2 missiles.
Yeah, well...
Even though Amuro couldn't do it. I mean, I know he was just mostly ignoring her because he had better things to do, but still, it's like, oh, with all his beam weapons, he couldn't just casually destroy it, but yet it couldn't take 2 missiles from a half-destroyed Regizi.
Oh yeah, that kind of reminds me. I watched the next part of that...
Oh, I can get the ace now.
That Netflix Transformers anime thing.
Oh, yes.
And I'm even more baffled as to who this is for.
I don't know anything about this show, to be honest.
Alright, so it's basically like, okay, so like the whole first one was, hey, what if we saw the Transformers when they were having their war on Cybertron before coming to Earth? But then they also made it all like really dark and edgy. So
Well, of course they do.
So it's a bit weird in that sense, because it's like, I don't know, like, it's just odd to me that you have like Decepticon, where you try and tell me on the one hand, the Decepticons are this downtrodden people who were abused by Autobots or the ruling command of Cybertron, and that's why Megatron is the way he is. And then I'm still sat there like, yeah, but they're still called Decepticons though. Like they're literally just inherently evil.
Yeah, and like, literally the first thing they do when their war comes to another planet is, let's subjugate this other planet!
Let me just literally pick up the statue of Lincoln so I can sit in his chair.
Yeah, like,
Ha ha ha.
Well, yeah, it doesn't work when they actively are like, okay, let's attack these. Okay, we land on this other planet. We can continue our war, but also let's subjugate this planet. Where the Autobots are like, let's try to stop the Decepticons from subjugating a planet.
So it's basically like, yeah, let's do a prequel to G1, fine. And then this first season.
I mean, they wanted to subjugate Earth because they wanted the energy from it.
Yeah. But then...
You know what I'm saying? Like, the Autobots didn't want to do that. That's what I'm saying.
No, but I mean...
There's that one videotape floating around where all the Autobots mysteriously are bad guys.
Where's Starscream in all this?
Well, he's fighting Optimus Prime.
Oh, yeah.
Which becomes really odd when it turns out he's the one in the Optimus
Prime
costume.
No, that's why I made the joke.
It's weird.
But does he talk?
Yes, he does an amazing Optimus, like evil Optimus Prime.
No, I mean, does Starscream talk?
Yes.
Does the Starscream Optimus is fighting talk?
Yes.
Okay, then I guess because I could be like, well, maybe he's one of the other ones and they just colored him wrong because they did that all the time.
No, I think that's giving him way too much credit in this case. But yeah, so like the first season ends with, hey, let's all the Autobots get on the Ark and they jetson off into space to find the Allspark and all that jazz. And you're like, okay, so it's just lead into G1, and then season 2 happens, and then it's getting fucky. So like, there's this part where they have this thing where they fight Scorponok, which feels weird because I mean, Scorponok's kind of lame.
Like Headmaster Scorponok?
Yes, Headmaster Scorponok. So yeah, he's pretty lame. And then, like, they go to this dead universe where they meet Skylink. And then they're like, oh, Skylynx was this, like, guy who was totally wanted the Autobot Matrix of leadership, and he got banished there because he was so, like, violent and arrogant. And I'm like, man, that feels a bit like you're doing Skylynx dirty now. Skylynx was the worst, and that made him the best. It's like, Skylynx's most memorable quote is literally if you ever wonder what it is you should do, ask yourself, what would Skylynx do? And you will not go far wrong. which I appreciate.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then the Decepticons chase the Autobots, and they wind up in the dead universe. And then fucking Galvatron comes from the future or something to tell Megatron to steal the Matrix of leadership. And Megatron's like, "Who are you?" And Galvatron's like, "Oh, no one special. Look, just trust me. But also don't trust anyone, but do what I say." And Megatron's like, "Yeah, this seems legit."
Okay,
And
I
I'm
believe
like,
you.
What? And then fucking, there's this part where after Galvatron's like, "Yeah, okay, so I need you to I need you," after he time travels, where fucking Unicron like cameos, and it's like, "Galvatron, I can't believe you betrayed me." And I'm like, okay, when the fuck does this take place? Like, when does Galvatron have the time to journey and go back in time to tell Megatron when he's whatever? And then they crash, and then there's a big battle, and they crash land on Earth, and then a fucking robot Velociraptor sees the Ark crashing. I'm like, is that fucking Dino? The Raptor model they used looks suspiciously like Dinobot. And then I'm like, but how does that work? Because Beast Wars takes place after the Autobots have already been crash landed on Earth for like a million years. Like, and I understand what this is for at this point, because like if it's meant to be this,
I assume they're just throwing all kinds of weird cameos and like not caring about continuity in the slightest.
But I care.
Sure.
Also, the fucking golden disc shows up, and I'm like, but why?
Train, I think it's time to accept the fact that we won't have another good Transformers show ever again after animated. I think it's just time to accept it.
I mean, I already knew it was going to be bad because it was like Grimdark Edgelord, and everyone was like, "Oh, but it's so serious," and I'm like, "It's fucking Transformers."
Oh, I don't want series of Transformers. I want stupid.
Like, you can't fucking do this where you sit there and say, "I want Transformers to be stark and serious," and it's the series where the bad guys are literally called Decepticons. Like, they're fucking cartoonishly bad because they're cartoons.
And also, they're not like
They're not called Decepticons for nothing.
Well, you see, in Cybertronian, Decepticon means really good guy.
That's not why they're called Decepticon, Chip.
Fucking Chip.
Courage.
Fucking.
Transformers is the kind of series where there's where they have an episode where the Combaticons drive down the street. Yes, including the two of them that are aerial vehicles. They also drive down the street and then get blown up and then get their parts sold by Swindle. And then a bunch of fucking high school kids build a robot out of Brawn's brain. And then it ends with like two teenagers basically gagging and tying up a small girl their age. That's what Transformers is. It's weird, it's kind of creepy, and there's Carbomia in there.
I knew it! I knew it!
I was gonna say, well, that's obviously why they want to subjugate Earth. They're like, what's this Carbomia? Oh, these guys need to pay for that.
No, like, what if we made cars out of bombs? Deceptibombs!
It's
Fucking.
just weird. And also Ravage's design.
Also, like, you could probably try to make it. The thing is, there's only like one person that I could think of who could have made a darker Transformers and make it work. Unfortunately, he died years ago, and I'm forgetting his fucking name, but it's the guy behind Getter Robo. Because remember, in the manga, they were still punching dinosaurs while everything was still fucking weird.
Go Nagai?
No,
not Go
I mean
Nagai.
the other guy.
Oh,
Like, go,
they're pretty alive.
No, it's not. It's that thing where Go Nagai like helped with the original thing, but then like the actual creator did. I can't remember his name either. Let me check. I'll go and Google it.
Also, I can name the squad. You guys, should we keep T3, or do you guys want to name it something?
The Fighting Mongoose is Ken Ishikawa. That was his name.
I don't think Fighting Mongooses will fit.
No, there's only 18 characters.
That's silly.
Wait, hold on.
I'm checking right now.
Just fucking checking.
I like how in
Mongoose blood.
You
I think that'll fit.
know what? Just call them the Wizards. Never forget the Wizard.
you know what, you're right, the wizard. The wizards.
Where's the wizard in the fucking MCU, guys?
You know what? The problem. Oh no, we gotta be careful. No. You know what? No, I do want this. I was gonna say we gotta be careful because Dan Slott might get his hands on the wizard. And I'm like, no, actually, I kind of want that.
It's
I
like,
mean-
oh,
You gotta be careful about phrasing that, Dan. Just saying, oh no, Dan Slott's got his hand on the wizard.
No, I'm fine with this.
so
That's
they
it.
like the wizard, eh? Well, let's see how they like it after I take over.
That's it, Dan
I will
Slott.
show him off as a cat bully and thief.
Take that, because I am award-winning comic book author Dan Slott.
Oh God, what was it today on Twitter? I saw someone they posted like a panel, and it's just like it was like Spider-Man directed by Zack Snyder, and it was a panel from fucking Superior Spider-Man, and him shooting a bullet through the fucking spiderweb shooter. And I'm just looking at that, and I'm like, no, that's just Dan Slott Spider-Man guy. That's just Dan Slott. This isn't Zack Snyder's. Let's be fair. Though Zack Snyder probably would read that and be like, this is amazing. I love
No,
this.
if it was Zack Snyder's Spider-Man, it would just be, instead of webs, it's just spikes all over the costume.
So it would what you're saying is it basically be that weird time period where Spider-Man had those weird barbs that would shoot out of his hands?
Yes.
Ah, fucking, I love the other. It's so horrible. And then it's like, and then when you fucking remember the other, and you're like, wow, that was terrible. I hope that's the worst it gets. And then that's literally the precursor. It gets worse, so much worse. Because Civil War happens.
Right. Oh, as a lighthearted aside, I genuinely enjoy that Guy and Mikito are just a actual loving couple.
Yes.
We need more of that in fiction instead of let's wait until the end and then get them together, or they're together, alright, kill one of them. Anyway, back to making fun of Dan Slott and the weird spider spike hands and
Well,
shit.
they almost kill him. It's a bit, the final gets a bit, weird.
Yeah,
But it's fine. They confirm they all get back happy and safe. Yes, even the ones that very clearly look like they died.
I mean, considering I believe that.
Yeah, they probably did.
I also enjoy the fact that Mikito's hair is rabbit shaped because it somehow protects her from electricity.
Well, also because her last name's Tsugi, so
Yeah.
it's a pun on rabbits, because he's a lion and she's a rabbit. Because his last name is literally Lion King.
I mean,
It's
it
Shish-
makes sense.
it's just- yeah, it's his last name is Shishio. It's like,
Wait, are you saying that there's dumb puns in this show? Come on, this series is very serious. That's why a character was named Pizza.
to be fair, he is an alien at least.
I mean, yes, but that wasn't his alien name.
No, his alien name is Soldato J,
Yes,
so which basically means he's Soldier J, because he has the J jewel, you see, which is like the G stone, but it's red.
it's true. Yeah, see, there's the green planet, the red planet, and this is the blue planet. It's fine.
And then there's
So what's the blue? So what's the blue planet stone? Or it doesn't get one because it's not cool.
we don't get one because we're stupid.
You know, that's fair, actually. It's kind of like why we don't get our... It's kind of... Well, I mean, think about it. Like in Sailor Moon, like all these planets, and then also the moon get a scout. And what does Earth get? We get fucking Momaru. We just get Tuxedo Mask, and we have to deal with that.
Yeah. No Earth-chan for us.
Oh, here he is. Here's the boy, Master Asia.
Oh,
I like how
Yeah,
even in
so-
Japanese polls, Master Asia is popular enough to pop up in like their like Gundam like top lists for male pilots.
wow.
Even though Japan doesn't really like G Gundam.
I think it's one of those things where G Gundam's a lot more favoured nowadays.
Yeah.
Just because, bearing in mind, you have to think of it of the people who do the polls have the nostalgia factor. So, like, that's why UC Gundam was, like, the shit for the longest time, because it was basically relied on all the people who had grown up with UC Gundam hyping up the fact, oh, but UC Gundam, though. And now that we're past the point where they really now we're at the point where people who grew up with things like Gundam Wing and G Gundam and even Gundam X.
Unfortunately, Kira gets really high up on the polls.
Yeah, well, that's because Kira's fucks. That's basically it.
Kira Jesus Yamato.
Everyone loves Kira.
Kira is the best.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Gundam Seed is a good show. Please, someone call the cops. I'm held at gunpoint.
I don't know if they go that far because I think even like in Japan they're like Seed was not great. We just like Kira.
Yeah. They're like
It's like it's like how all the Evangelion most of the
How can you
Evangelion
like
fans
Kira?
don't actually care for the actual show.
Actually, that reminds me. I read a thing the other day about Eva. I didn't read the full thing. I only got the part that I think is the funniest. Is that Anno literally forgot about Rei, and in one of the episodes he had a scene of her because someone reminded him that she existed, and then she wasn't in the next episode because he forgot about her again.
Yeah, he didn't really care for her, and is kind of mad that fans liked her better than
I mean,
supposedly that's the rumor anyway, because they're like Anno is apparently like
Anno's weird. He doesn't he's mad at Pat Labar because Pat Labar was partially responsible for delaying Gunbuster.
Yeah, but Pat Labor's fucking amazing, so...
Yeah.
I think if I had to take a choice between Gunbuster and Pat Labor, I think I'd take Pat Labor.
Like, so I'll be honest with you. I love Gunbuster. I love the Gunbuster mech itself. I really do, but if I'm going to just talk about the quality of the series and/or franchises, yeah, I would take Pat Labar.
Sorry, I know, I'm not with you on this one. I'll meet you halfway, and I'll say, man, it sure does suck, but... Go over it, man.
I'm sorry. But I like how he's like, yeah, Pat Labar is boring, like, nothing happens, and it's like, wait, but, like, it takes forever for Gunbuster to do anything.
But nothing happens in either! Nothing happens so much that they made, like, 3 fucking movies of nothing happening.
Oh, you know what's great about this episode? Because it showed the footage of the, of Jay's thing being built, combining the King Jader. Is that what's going to happen when I put up this video is in a bunch of countries this episode's going to be blocked because that's what happened when Gal Kai formed.
Amazed people are defending the copyright of Gal Kai.
But I was surprised when I saw it. I was like, oh my god, this is fucking hilarious. The United States wasn't one of them. But, like, it'd be funny if there's, like, some random guy in Japan who, for some reason, is watching this out of morbid curiosity, and they just get to that and be like, God damn!
Well, I guess that's
honestly, if there's anybody from Japan clicking on any of these, they clicked on the first one, checked to see if I picked Sigure, then nodded and clicked away.
It's fine, Dan. What they need to do is now go to our sponsor, Black VPN.
Subscribe to Dollar Shave Club! Manscaped!
Maybe I should tell you about this little game called Raid Shadow Legends. Is that even still going?
Yeah, I still see those.
God.
Apparently they just have enough ad money to like...
Hey, how about
get,
AFK
like,
Arena?
from literally every person on the internet.
Hey, did you guys hear about AFK Arena? There's the new Persona up...
Man, you know what I'm beginning to really fucking hate about YouTube, though?
YouTube?
Apart from that, but whenever you're watching a video and you're like, yeah, well, this is fine, and then they just suddenly pause the video and go, did you know, like, half of you aren't subscribed? And it's like, well, I mean, I wasn't aware of that, but now I can see why.
Yeah.
Fuck you! Don't try and guilt trip me. I have no guilt. I would gut you like a fish and I'd sleep like a baby.
Yeah, no, he would.
Dare.
As a dumb aside, as I've been playing more of T on my own, it's kind of slightly depressing how much Mike Guine is kind of shelved in this game versus the last. He almost feels incidental.
Well, he is. It's literally the main reason he's in this game is because A, they want the mashup of Mike Guine and Gal Gaigar, but also because it's like they know they're never going to get the Mike Guine license back, so they're going to use it because it's been an incredibly requested series.
Yeah. I just kind of feel bad. It's like, oh,
I mean, I would feel bad, but it did have like whole game that, like, V was very much built around Mike Guns the shit though.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is, of course, to get to those bits, you gotta like go through a bit of shit, and by shit I mean the seed and 00 stuff.
Plus, also it's in X, so it's had like 2 games to have to do stuff in before getting to T. So by the time of T, it's like, yeah. I
didn't really play X because it doesn't really have a lot of stuff that I'm interested in.
But it's still like it's still like...
No, I get what you're saying.
So, yeah, they wanted to get the max value they could out of Might Gun because, yeah, it's going back into the Takara Vault. You won't see it again.
You know, no. If it's like the Disney Vault, you might. If it's the Nintendo Vault, you probably won't, unless it's Ice Climbers, then you get it forever.
Well, no, it's...
Hold on, do you like Ice Climbers? You like Ice
No,
Climbers?
it's different in the sense that, like, you have to remember, this is made by Banpresto, which is owned by Bandai, which is Takara's mortal enemy.
Yeah.
So it's the case of, yeah, they'll give you the rights to use properties at a high cost. It's why they only ever did Zoids like once.
They did Zoids once, and it was in that PSP game where it didn't really have much of a story, and it was just, let's just get as many franchises as we can, including Patlabar.
Yeah.
I would love them to get Zoids though, in like an actual game. It'd be fucking awesome.
But as I say, unfortunately, it's the cost an arm and a leg. Because rights. It's why, like, you know, you'll probably never see Transformers in this series ever.
Gundam will almost always be in because it's owned by Bandai, which owns the I'm having a stroke.
Yeah,
Ben
I mean,
Presto.
Sunrise stuff is always a good shout for that same reason. So, it's just a question of that Eva's always a bit problematic just because of what are they even called these days? Oh, actually, no, it's Arno who owns it.
Yeah,
now, so.
Anno owns it. Gunbuster, I think, he doesn't own. Whatever they're fucking called, I think still owns that in Nadia. I know he wants them back. But I don't think he does have the right. I mean, it could be different now. I don't know.
So yeah, it's just a bunch of it's just basically like stuff that's owned by Sunrise or Bandai is always like likely to get in, just because it's easier. You don't really have to pay a whole lot of rights compared to, like, say, if you wanted to bring in like.
Well, I mean, it's something that they literally their parent company owns. Literally, it's just like, hey, can we use it? Yes. Okay.
Except sometimes, like, no, but I mean, maybe, but you have to use this one though.
Right.
Like, hey, can we use the Gundams in this? Sure. Which one? Sure. Which ones were you thinking? Well, you know, we were thinking of Wing. Okay. How about Reconquista and G?
Oh.
Well, I don't know about that. No, I think you're using Reconquista and G.
Alright, I guess we're using
Well,
it.
it's like how they were basically told to use Seed in Alpha 3, weren't they? And then use Seed non-stop.
I mean, this game is pretty much, when it comes to Gundam, it's like all you see, and then also G Gundam, because this game is a lot of their unit picks. I even looking at them, this one was. I feel like they were picking certain ones that they knew people in the West would more likely know.
Well, also, there's a whole lot of they get to reuse a whole lot of assets from V.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's probably true.
C. So it's like it is the half of the they're picking stuff that's probably more well known overseas internationally now, but also it's stuff that they just already have a lot of assets for that they can reutilize, shall we say?
Yeah, because I mean, like, so the Shin Getter has a couple of like tweaks to its animations and new ones, but it is mostly the same.
There's designing stuff for HD is not cheap these days.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Mazingers are the Infinity, so that was all new. And I'm gonna be honest with you, okay, this isn't even me critiquing their design and shit. Just the animations just aren't quite as good on these. Like the Thunderbreaker animation on the Infinity Mazingers, Great Mazinger isn't nearly as good as the one that was in V.
Well, if I might make a point, the other side of that coin is it's not necessarily that the animations themselves are bad, but the problem is they're effectively recreating as best as they can the animations of the 3D CG models, and the 3D CG models are always going to have did not have that smooth animation because
It's 3D models.
yeah, there's always problems.
I really don't like the thing of turning the mechs 3D in modern anime. It just does not look good.
No, but it's not a matter of how it looks. It's a matter of how cheap it is.
Yes. How easy it is to animate.
Yeah, if you could because that's especially these days at the moment, where Japan's now had to go. Okay, yeah, there is a virus, I guess. Because I guess basically denying that there was any kind of COVID thing didn't work out so well. Weird, right?
Right? That's strange. Who would have thunk it?
Oh, I did. I thunk it.
Oh.
Japan didn't know. That's why they're now back in. That's why they're also back in mega lockdown, just like we are.
Hey, we're not, but that's because we're #1 in infection.
I think Japan was just banking on the fact that, like, well, we wear masks and don't really get close to each other anyway. We'll be fine.
I know, I hear people are pretty pissed about the whole situation over there currently, but that's just third-party stuff. Or that's like hearing from people who've heard from people kind of thing.
Telephone.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
You know what? Fair play to the insurrectionists, though. A lot of them were wearing masks.
well,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, because you have to wear masks to go anywhere these days. In Washington,
What was it?
anyway.
After they were done their hours long of their insurrection, they were chilling at a hotel without their masks for several hours. That was, it was nice to see a nice chill session after a bunch of pillaging.
Yeah, well.
Like Vikings. Hey, Ubisoft.
It could have been worse. It could have been Star Trek Nemesis instead of Insurrection.
Nemesis.
I mean, which one is worse? No, that's Genesis.
I know.
Which one's worse? Which one's worse between Insurrection and Nemesis? Nemesis is worse.
Really?
Yeah.
That's an interesting opinion.
Nemesis is laughably awful.
Where Insurrection is just kind of boring.
No, Insurrection is also awful. It's just not quite to the extent of. Oh, by the way, so the Remans, who are like the Dark Eldar to the Romulans Eldar, when the Romulans were already the Dark Eldar to the Vulcans Eldar, also existed, and they've always existed. Fuck you. Also, they all look like weird bat people for some reason. Also, they created a clone of Picard because fuck you. Like, it's just... And also all the shit with, like, the fucking... mentally handicapped Data. Yeah, so there's a little... Data has a little brother in Nemesis, but he's, like, literally fucking portrayed as if he's handicapped. It's weird. And then, yeah, Tom Hardy trying to pretend to be young Patrick Stewart is also weird. Yeah, Nemesis is just bad. Insurrection is just slightly not as bad. But, I also am mad at Insurrection because it has the stupid line of, the people we're buddying up to are the biggest producers of Ketracel White. It's like, but in the lore, that's literally the fuel used to create the army of super soldiers that are currently ravaging you. So you're just cozying up to the people supplying the bad guys with what they need to beat you. More, yeah.
Yeah, but
It's,
they could also provide the immortality stuff. So it's
yeah,
worth
but
it.
and man, I don't know. Insurrection's that thing where it's like it's sandwiched between First Contact, which is actually good, and Nemesis, which is fucking awful. But because it's so like not as bad or nowhere near as good as the things it's next to, it's just easy to forget.
Dumb aside, completely unrelated and more related to the thing I'm playing. Do you think the reason why I like the ZZ Gundam so much is because it's basically a super robot?
Yes.
Possible.
No, it's 100% yes.
I do really like the Oh god.
I'll even go a step further and say the reason you like it so much is because it's a freeform like Get a Robo made of 3 jets.
I forgot, you're right.
So, yeah.
Shit.
That one time it was made by a lion, a bird, and a... What the fuck was the final part of Triumph 3 anyway?
I think it was some kind of fish, because it was like a
Doesn't
land
look,
guy and
it didn't look like a fish. It just looked like a pair of legs with wings.
But what is it? I do still like what Medi said before, because Medi, by the way, he loves Gundam like I do and like we do, but he fucking hates Tomino.
I get it. No, I 100% get it. Tomino's that person where you're like, could you just stop saying words out of your talk?
He's like, will you stop acting so pretentious?
Yeah.
But I like what one thing Medi said before in relation to the Zeta Gundam itself is, yeah, Tomino keeps saying, yeah, I never wanted to be toys, I didn't want it to be merchandise at all, and he can say that as much as he wants, but I don't believe him for a second that he didn't look at the Zeta Gundam and be like, yeah, this is definitely something that I want on my desk.
I mean, it's a fucking Transformer.
Yeah,
so...
the Zeta Gundam is fucking cool too.
I always thought he was just trying to. He was just like trying to come up with. Oh, okay. How do I top something that turns into a jet? Something that's made of 3 jets.
Well, that's Double Zeta. But I'm just talking about Zeta. Like he looked at the Zeta specifically and was like, "Yeah, this is cool."
Oh, well.
Because the Zeta is definitely a cool-looking robot.
To be, I mean, I think, or he was just trying to hype Macross, which had come out like only a year or two before.
I mean, was it one of the poses that the Zeta does is literally the Macross pose?
Isn't Tomino's like half of his Tomino shtick is like looking at people go, do their thing, and it's like I can do that.
I still like I mean, probably. I do like looking at Rikusta G and being like, God, this is Tomino at some of his worst. Ugh.
It's Tomino when he's gone full Kojima.
Yes.
It was supposed to be better, but apparently he ran into production problems.
Uh-huh.
That's what
Does
he
sound
says.
like
It
does
seems-
sound like Tomino.
It does sound like
It's
Tomino.
like it keeps in mind they couldn't even afford a proper opening sequence, so it's just random clips from the show.
I mean, you say this, and then I'm sat here like, isn't that just what we did for opening themes for fucking decades?
Yeah.
Until now.
Yeah,
we just
but I mean, Gundam is known for having like most anime is known for having like custom made elaborate sequences with like a song and everything, and apparently for G Reiko they couldn't afford to do that. They just put random clips from the show out of context, playing over the song.
But how many of those dollars were just put into Tomino's pocket for the budget?
I don't know. Does he get merchandise rights from Gundam stuff because he helped create it?
I'm gonna.
Because if he does,
Hmm.
then he doesn't really need any money like ever.
I don't know.
It's like how Michael Bay got a cut of all the Bayformers figure sales.
Yeah.
It was only like 1 or 2%, but that was still like a couple
It's
million per year.
Yeah.
It's odd because none of those designs, none of the toy designs ever look anything like the fucking movie. Admittedly, that's to the benefit.
That's because it's literally impossible.
Yeah, because they look
it's-
shit.
It's the benefit to the toys, honestly.
And like the Bayformers, and like in order to make them look as close to the movie as possible, and also transform into a very realistic because that was the whole thing. They had like licensed vehicle figures as far as transformation wise. Those things were like basically. I think I bought one once just to for the sake of curiosity, and like those things are they have like 20-step transformations. No kid can figure that out.
Oh yeah, it's insanity. And that's
I
not even-
couldn't figure it out, and I had the instruction manual. I was like, how?
You want to know what's worse, Sabo?
Who would play with this and spend like 5 minutes like transforming the figure?
Do you want to know what's worse, Sabo?
What?
So you know the Masterpiece line?
Yeah.
Where it's insane. Yeah, they've done a couple for the fucking movie designs.
But the Masterpiece line is made for like display collectors, so I could sort of kind of maybe understand why those things are so complicated. But like these are supposed to be figures for kids to play with, and I was like, no kid can play with this.
Right?
You have to spend 10 minutes transforming the thing.
you know what's really sad is that
It's not like with the original G1 line where it was like you could do it in seconds.
You know what's really
Unless-
sad? So years before the movie even came out, they did a toy line called Alternators, which was literally the same concept of let's give Transformers realistic alt modes. And it's like they're so much better looking than the fucking ones than like the Bayformers.
Yeah, because they also didn't have to turn into those Bayformers not so great robot modes.
Yeah,
At least
but I
until
was gonna
last
say with the
movies.
toy mode.
The last two movies they did improve, but by then it was kind of too late.
What was I was gonna say with the toy makers? Honestly, they probably like people who like design toys probably were handed the fucking character art for the Bayformer versions of them, and looked and like, how the fuck am I supposed to sell a toy of this? Because they're ugly. Like they aren't even like they're not like cool looking in terms of like a toy robot. They're not cool looking in terms of like say like a thing you just put on your shelf. They're just bleh.
They were going to be even uglier, but Hasbro said no.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is that sometimes you see the pre-production shots and you're like, what the fuck were they thinking?
They're like, no, not even close. They're just like giant silver like metallic alien things, basically that like can't talk.
And then you're
And
like,
then, and then Hasbro was like, no, you're going to paint them the same colors as the things they transform into, and also put car parts on them, and also all of them have to talk. They kind of got away with it with Bumblebee because they were like, okay, you could do that for one, but they were like, no. It's like you're going to paint him bright red, and he's going to have a very deep, booming voice. That's Optimus Prime. Otherwise, like, it's not even close.
yeah, it's like, why even bother calling it Transformers then? Why not just call it Transformographergizers?
There's a name I haven't heard in years.
You know, fight for Oreo Bot.
Oreo Bot, no.
And then sing the Spine song, Sabo. Spine, spine, spine.
Spine, spine, spine. I'm skipping with your spine. Spine, spine, spine. It was yours and now it's mine.
Might as well just make canon.
Remember Oreo Bot. If I come back and find out you have not honored him, remember the spine song.
Which does work because the next one he's bad, isn't he? He's Nemesis Prime.
He's Nemesis Prime.
Like,
Well, yeah, but then he flies away and then the Earth explodes anyway with a John Cena. I don't know why I said Michael Cena. That was weird.
Michael
John
Cena.
Cena.
I'm gonna write
John
that down
Cena.
as like a D&D character. I'm gonna make a grappler monk named Michael Cena.
I hope he's a really awkward person. Like,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make his charisma like shit. Hustle.
I always
Respect.
think of Michael. You know what? Michael Cera is one of those people who looks like a deer in headlights. You know, like they're that kind of person who just has look about them, where they're just looking at like their imminent death, and they're like, "Huh, that's probably bad, but what can you do?"
I mean, that sounds about
Am
right.
I wrong?
That sounds right.
He's the kind of person I think would be like hit by a bus and they go, "Oh, I thought, trust me to get the bus on time today." Just that kind of weird sense of like as I said, aware of their own impending mortality, but like lacking the facilities to really do anything about it. So just like not even acceptance, just resignation to it all. That's what I think when I see Michael Cera. There's a few other people, but he's the only one I can think of that you guys both know.
Hey guys, it's me, Michael Cera. That's not what he sounds like. Or is that how he sounds? I actually don't know.
Sure, why not?
That's me, Michael Cera. How you doing?
Who's gonna care? Like he's not even gonna get offended. He's just gonna go, "Yeah, I guess I do sound like that." Like I said, it's kind of resignation to their fate.
Oh, you know, it's something I thought of for my own playthrough of this. I'm sad Hokushin doesn't appear more, because I can't do the shitty goblin voice for him more. Because in V, he just keeps showing up like, it's me again! Haha, Keto! How you doing?
It's me, Kuze. I mean, Hokushin.
Yeah? There's a lot of that in V. A lot of like that kind of energy of how many times do I have to beat you, old man. And Embryo is like the embodiment of that. But then again, Embryo can do whatever the fuck he feels like doing.
Embryo is just doing God's work. Which is his work. It's just, I mean, you gotta respect the hustle. You gotta respect a man whose grand plan is, I'm just gonna steal your waifus. It's literally his plan.
It's so stupid.
It's fucking great.
Alright, so it's like, what's your plan? Oh, I'm gonna recreate the world. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. What's you? I want waifus.
You see this waifu? Yes, it's mine.
My waifu now.
She's my wife now. Fucking Embryo. You just feel bad for Leonard.
It's a shame though that his taste is really
Which is awful to consider, feeling bad for Leonard being stuck with Embryo as a partner.
Yeah.
Because Leonard is also the worst. He's just not quite as creepy as Embryo.
Yeah.
His whole thing is just, man, my mother, like, basically sacrificed me to save my sister. What the fuck's up with that? And it's like, you know what? I'd sacrifice you to save Tessa as well, though.
Yeah, actually, same.
In a fucking heartbeat, man. Tessa's adorable.
In fact, the fact that you survived upsets me. You should have been sacrificed. Why are you alive?
Why is it you? Why aren't you dead?
You were supposed to die.
Basically, exactly word for word what Leonard's mother said. But, you know, I get it. I respect that hustle too. Look, there are just some villains which you get, right? You might not necessarily agree with them, but you're like, you know what? I get it. You know, like, I like that Embryo. Yeah, it's Taina's plan, but, you know, fair enough. You know, I respect that he had the balls to go for it.
I mean, unfortunately, his taste is terrible.
I mean, yeah, but I still appreciate that he had the balls to go. You know what? All this power, the phenomenal cosmic power. What are you going to use it for? I'm going to steal people's waifus.
I can't get over though, like what he grabs or like who he kidnaps. Especially considering one of them's a fucking child.
Yeah, but any holes are gold, Dan.
I don't think so. I don't ever say that again.
Good times.
Fuck.
Look, it's time to leave.
Not yet. The map's still going.
Imagine if I'd have timed it just perfectly.
I will say, because I'm looking at it, even though I have the Tornado Rex and I think it's really cool, I still love the Tornado.
No.
The Tornado Rex I like more, don't get me wrong, but I like Tornadoes.
Yeah, but Pteranodon Rex is a really cool backpack.
Oh, it does?
You've not seen the cool backpack yet, have you?
I don't think so.
It also kind of sounds like Tornado Rex, which, you know.
It's everyone's favourite Board James episode.
Rest in peace, poor James.
He
No, but it's
died like years ago, man.
Rest in peace, poor James.
Hey, he's still going?
No,
And he's not hating his life like,
No, he's still going, it's just Board James ended. That was the joke, specifically on Board James. Because he ended that series a while ago. It had a good ending, to be fair.
Yeah.
He just pretty much was done with it. He's like, yeah, I got nothing else I need to do or want to do with this, so I'm going to end it. And honestly, fair enough. That's
I played all the board games I liked.
I did everything I wanted to. I'm done.
Once you put balls in a bucket, like, where do you go?
Mr. Bucket, put your balls in my mouth.
Where do you go from there?
Where do you... Yeah, I mean, yeah, he peaked with Mr. Bucket, let's be real.
And plus, to get out of the game before it turns out... I think I've said before, I have a great time watching old TV now and just playing the is he dead? Is that actor dead or disgraced? That's my pitch for a new game show, Dead or Disgraced. You just have to be like, yeah, is this person dead or are their just lives like horribly ruined forever because of the things they did? And then sometimes you get the double whammy. You get the dead and disgraced.
It's like the fucking. It's making me think of the fucking hysteria thing with or like not the. I don't know why. It's making me think of like the fucking not hysteria. The Henry VIII's wife thing. The divorced beheaded died.
Yeah. Well, you know. And you know what? That's the guy whose hustle I also respect. You know. He was like, I want to divorce my wife, and the church is like, no, you can't do that. And he's like, well, fuck you, I'm gonna go make my own church. It's like, I respect that. Yeah, I respect that. Imagine having the balls to be like, well, I don't like this wife, I want another one. Well, you can't. Well, fuck you, Pope. You take that, you your silly hat. I'll make a better church, and also yours is illegal now. What are you gonna do about it? We'll just sit here in the Vatican and be very, very upset.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
Literally what happened. And that's how the Church of England was made. And then also, then they did execute the second one because she was maybe a witch. These things happen.
Maybe. It's possible.
I mean...
Yeah, sometimes you gotta purge a heretic, you know how it goes.
Yeah. You know what heresy spreading. You know what happens when you let heresy spread? Chaos wins. Who really wants chaos to win?
I still love how every time people are like, Master Asia, how the fuck did you survive? He's like, I never died, but I literally saw you die. You believe your lying eyes.
I mean, it's just like in the show, so, you know.
Yeah. And I just like that he just sticks to that every time when people who aren't Domo ask. I do want to get to if they. I do want to get to the part where they explain it.
The first time Domon gets his upgrade, he pretty much just explodes him, and this is after Master Asia regenerated so much he started to like age and break down, and then he just shows up fine. But then he didn't have Devil Gundam cells, so how did that work?
Because he has perfect Gundam cells instead.
He's like, look, I've never had a single Devil Gundam cell touch my body. How did you survive exploding 20 episodes ago?
Yeah, he literally gets fucking burned by the thrusters of God Gundam, and then he's just fine.
I've decided to be immune to fire.
It's not just that he gets burned by the thrusters of the God Gundam. It's also like his hair turns white, his face starts like shriveling up because, like, I guess he was using too much power or something, and then like, oh no, he's fine.
No, he just had unlimited power, Sabo.
But he was also kind of sick when he came back. He was a little sick.
He was sick from the start. That's why he didn't just plug himself into the Devil Gundam and like not have to bother harassing Domon all series.
No, we've been kind of not talking about it in this, and fair enough, because we talked about it before recording, but I do just want to say, I find it absolutely hilarious. The whole point of the whole insurrection thing was just to say, hey, we don't want you to proclaim that Biden won, and then they just did anyway. Like, so it was all just really, really pointless. It just makes it even funnier to me. It's like the fucking end of the potential end of democracy as we know it, and it was all pointless anyway. I think my favorite part though, that's one I do love that, but I think my favorite part is the fact that they called it "Stop the Steal," but they're literally trying to steal it. You know what? I've said this multiple times now, but fair play to Trump. He was right. There was voter fraud this election.
Yeah, it was him.
Yeah, it was him.
Yep.
So now you just question: was this a confession? Did he confess? Was that the reveal? That Trump just confessed to the voter fraud? Because it's like he was right. We can't fault him now. There was indeed voter fraud in the 2020 election. He's just not very good at it. It turns out.
I mean, I still love I think I also love during the hundreds and hundreds, like how he kept like telling the states to recount, and they kept recounting, and it only kept like widening the margin between him and Biden more and more.
It's literally, it just keeps reminding me of the
it's
Simpsons.
It's like, oh, actually, we're right. We found some more votes for you. Good. How many? 5. Okay, that's not bad. We found 100 for Biden. What?
It'd be like the Simpsons if, like, every time they did a recount, there was more votes for
One for
guy.
That's what happened. That's literally what happened. Every time they counted, there was more votes for Biden. There were a couple for Trump that were added, but then there was like way more that were added for Biden.
It's The Simpsons, where every time she does a recount, Martin gets another vote.
It's pretty much what happened.
Sure is fun though. Sure is fun.
God. I'm not used to this game because spirit commands are a little bit not because of the way training and getting a character's abilities. It's a little less plentiful in this game than it was in V. Like I don't feel as overpowered with certain people in this game.
I mean, it's also just general units were a lot overall weaker in this game.
I think the overall game balance in this game is better than V. But
it's also because you basically have like. You have to consider that you have like the EVA units who have their bullshit AT field that just negates damage to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And like obviously Yamato is like the single best ship I think we've ever seen in this series, and like Mazinger Mazinger Z hits incredibly hard. Like Getter Robot, the Shin Getter was nerfed.
Yeah, because in that game it could transform and then untransform after a movement.
Yeah.
Like it could switch its forms whenever it felt like.
So you could basically get in close, and then actually Getter 3 might have a use. And then now Getter 3 just continues to be useless.
Now Getter 3 is like the way it is in the show, used like one time maybe, and then forgotten.
Yeah. So I actually did like ace pilot all three Getter pilots on my playthrough of T.
I'm trying to do that on
So
my solo, but I don't know if I'm going to do
I
it.
did technically find use, and it's incredibly useful for the midpoint where you can't do that anymore. For reasons I won't say. Yeah. Man. I'm just still like baffled at at that Transformers show, you know? Like, why go the deep dive of bringing in fucking Skylinks and then not have him be Skylinks? Why have Galvatron but not have him be a literal gibbering maniac? Like,
Cyclonus!
what's the fucking point? Like, I don't.
Cyclonus!
I've had enough of the like anime version where it's, hey, Megatron got a repaint, that means he's Galvatron now. Fair enough, but like, I want my version of Galvatron where he's just a lunatic.
Where it's like after the events of the movie and his brain just doesn't work anymore.
It's literally what happens, is that in like the month or year or whatever it happens between the movie and season 3, he crash lands on this planet, but he lands like head first in this lava pit. And the implication is that being basically like bathed in magma for a year or however long it is fucked his mind up. And that's why he talks in a completely different voice suddenly.
Cyclonus! I'll destroy you, Cyclonus!
Why he suddenly sounds like a... Like, weirdly enough, he sounds like Ray from Real Ghostbusters.
It's weird.
It's so bizarre!
Cyclonus!
Man, you know what? I think I mentioned it before, but one of my favorite things about the Real Ghostbusters is an episode where there are no more ghosts, so they just decide.
Oh yeah, you talk about this where they fight crime.
They eradicate all crime in New York. It's like, damn. Although, I can't remember, I watched something. Someone was rewatched a part of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, and they described how the turtle, because I never really watched it, but they described how the turtles got the turtle van, and they literally just steal it from Baxter Stockman before he becomes a human, fly thing.
Yeah, they so basically after they defeated Baxter Stockman, they raided Baxter Stockman's lab and just stole a bunch of shit.
Stole his van. It's like, fucking hell, guys. I thought Splinter raised you better than this.
That's Splinter's idea. Go to Baxter Stockman's and steal all his shit. I hear he's got a decent car.
Splinter taught them to... I mean, he did only teach them to be ninja teens.
Splinter taught them to be ninja tea!
God, I've been for some reason I keeps coming to my mind the fucking samurai pizza cats.
I've been seeing I've been enjoying. There's a Twitter I follow called Samurai Pizza Cats without context, and it's fucking amazing.
I like that their main villain is the big cheese, but he's a fox.
What? No, he's a mouse. He's a
No,
rat.
he's a fox. No, he's a
No,
fox.
no, he's a rat. He's a rat.
But he's a fox.
Shh, no, he's a rat. Shush.
They live in Little Tokyo. And also, even though they're samurais, they're very clearly ninja.
No, samurais, and that's a rat.
It's just like, man, what a weird fucking dub.
Right?
That's what happens when you have absolutely no context to what's going on.
Well, somebody please cue the bite.
Cue that Boyd.
They were like they got the footage.
But no script.
They got no scripts and they got no translation. So they were like, I don't know what's going on here. We'll just make something up.
I like how, though, apparently Japan loves the American version.
Well, yeah, because the original is just a generic thing. And the Samurai Pizza Cats is this weird gag.
Who do you call when you want some macaroni? I love how he's drunk.
I mean, it makes sense, really.
A log hangover. I just enjoy when I learned that that's just the funniest thing to me was I learned that the singer was just drunk off his ass.
It does make a lot of sense in hindsight.
Yeah. Honestly, the closest thing to it that we had after that was definitely Ghost Stories, and I think that those are the only two like this that we've seen.
Duel Masters.
Oh yeah, Duel Masters. You're right. Duel Masters also like this.
Yeah. And then I think they've done sequels to Duel Masters where they play it like as an actual Yu-Gi-Oh clone, and it's like
It's not nearly as fun.
Oh, and I guess technically Yu-Gi-Oh GX is kind of gag dubbing. You might not remember because of all the stupid shit, but it is actually a lot of weird jokes.
Oh yeah.
I remember that one video where like, did Little Karibo just start writing this?
I do remember like the
always
spirit
like that.
the card spirits were given like weird accents of actors.
Yes.
I just remember that one point where he's like, oh, he may have this and he may have this, but I'm good at children's card games, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's a line literally right out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged.
You don't know who the voice of Crowler, the professor, is, right?
Meowth, I think.
It's Sean Shamel.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was,
No.
Maddie Blowstein.
No.
Huh.
Alright, I guess we can talk about the Pokemon BA thing, can't we? Pokemon might be finally dead.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah, apparently Ash's Japanese VA is getting into legal trouble.
What happened?
So basically there's this thing about, there was a COVID
Shit, I
relief
dropped my
package for...
phone. Go ahead.
Well played. There was apparently a thing of a COVID relief package for, like, artists who were affected by the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
In Japan, and she took money from that when she's literally not been out of work because Pokemon's been continuing airing and being in production.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So, and she's like, "Well, I didn't though," or publisher said, so it's all a bit, all a bit weird.
It's suspect, but if they go like full, oh no, there's been some minor controversy, we must go scorch earth and ruin her career forever. That could be that could cause problems for the Pokemon anime because they probably won't want to recast at that point.
Maybe not. She might be fine. It's not like she did drugs.
Yeah.
It's not like she did drugs. They're like, what drugs? Oh my god! Just you're done, and we're patching this game you were just in to cut you out of it.
Patch the entire series.
Delaying the game an entire year in Japan to delete you from it.
Meanwhile, they had like Olaf's voice replaced in like a week.
Yeah.
Wait, what did Olaf do?
Oh, because
No, in Kingdom Hearts 3, he also voiced Olaf in Frozen,
Oh,
and also Kingdom Hearts 3. So within like a week of this controversy coming out, they patched Kingdom Hearts 3 in Japan to redub his voice with someone else.
to be fair, there is a bit of a difference between having to redub a voice and Yakuza, where they literally use the actors' likenesses as well for the models.
right.
So it
Didn't
wasn't
they just
just
release it as it was in the US? Because the US is like, we don't
Yes.
care, everybody does drugs over here.
Yes. That's why I say it was delayed a year in Japan in order to have like the time to.
It's like his. I could just picture like the like Hollywood being like, his career was over. Like, what happened? Oh, he did drugs, and everyone just laughs.
How many children did he sexually assault?
Oh no, that's fine if you do that. Like, that's fine. You can get away with that. That's fine.
No, to be fair, it was only child pornography. He didn't have him. He didn't handcuff him to the radiator and grape him in the mouth, Dan.
There was one manga artist who was going around slapping like teenage girls in the ass. I don't remember which one it was though. It's for one of the many shonen animes that's popular that I don't fucking watch.
That narrows it down.
Exactly.
Maybe it's the Sword Art Online guy. I only asked because I literally know nothing about Sword Art Online.
No, it wasn't him. I would have remembered that one because I would have been like, ha ha ha.
I only asked because Sword Art Online is a show I've never watched and have basically no experience with. But I know it's like the most popular show that everyone also actively hates. And I don't understand it.
I don't get it either.
Like, no one's ever said a good word about the show to me, ever.
I mean, I know
And
like
I'm
one person who like unironically likes it, and that's about it.
And I'm like, so if no one likes this show, who's watching it? Like, why is it still going?
Not us.
But it'd be one thing if I like if I saw like the usual peanut gallery set
It's-
like.
It's like how
Oh,
Gundam Seed and Kira are really popular, even though most people here don't like it. In fact, or most people on the internet don't like it, but yet
Like, I don't watch.
it's extremely popular.
Like I've said before, I don't watch My Hero Academia, and I don't really have much interest to do so. But I at least see people like that show.
Yeah, it's not like say like Attack on Titan where like anytime I crap on it, like there's a good chance I might actually incur the wrath of one of them. Because I've had that happen before where I just randomly like was making fun of it on my own, and I've had like Attack on Titan fan come flying at me.
So like, maybe if I rag on isekai stuff, people might get mad at me. But my main thing about bragging on isekai stuff is everything's a fucking isekai now, and I hate it.
Oh, hold on. Oh, that just reminded me of something. Okay, keep talking. I gotta pull it up first, but it's in vain of that.
Of how much I hate isekais.
Hold on. Go ahead.
They just all seem the fucking same. Where it's like, random Japanese neat gets teleported to video game land, and then everyone talks in video game terms. And it's all being like, ha ha ha, isn't this just like a video game? And it's like, but it's not though.
The only one I like is Konosuba because it's funny.
Yeah, but then doesn't that end with like the lolly character winning? So then it just gets a little bit. Ew.
I don't remember because I haven't finished it.
Oh, I heard that like the explosion girl is the one who wins in the end, and it's like, isn't she like the kid?
I think she's like 15, but yeah. I don't fucking know.
So,
But oh yeah, this is where it made me think of because the isekai thing. So because someone made a joke about it was an anime journalist, so you know they wrote great things like Gurren Lagann evolved instead of sticking to the traditional style of mecha, and that's why it's probably the coolest mecha anime ever. Even non-fans can enjoy it. It's hard to make mecha interesting beyond the robots and typical themes you see. It's not a fun genre to get into. There is a good reason why mecha is boring and stale, like moldy bread. And then like someone made a joke saying that let me get
Okay,
that one.
so this is one of those
They're like,
someone who assumes all mecha is Evangelion or Gundam.
Right, but yeah, someone made a joke immediately and said, but DBZ in the billionth isekai of the decade is just amazing. Which I joked saying, oi, I like Dragon Ball Z, but you're right.
I mean, at least Dragon Ball Z is the progenitor of it all.
Yeah.
At least the mecha isekai is kind of amusing in its own way.
God, you know what? I'm going to say something. It's a personal experience, and it's actually going to fucking make both of you mad, because it made me mad when I read it. So a friend of, acquaintance of mine, watched Gurren Lagann for the first time, and they fucking said, and I quote, that they liked it until it got about halfway through, and then it became bad Code Geass for a
Oh yeah, you told me about this.
fucking bad code. How does that make you feel, Sabo? Does that make you angry?
That just makes me confused. Like, well, there's not even there's nothing in Gurren Lagann that is like bad Code
It's
Geass.
talking about when it becomes not Gundam for like 3 episodes. When Roshu's like, man, maybe we should surrender to the Anti-Spirals or whatever. And you're like, why are you trying to be and then you're like, why? I get why you're trying to do this whole like politics and weird and like grey morality thing, but like, I mean, it's not this kind of show. Get back to your dumb drill. Get back to your dumb.
Oh, you mean like what Kill la Kill tries to do towards its end too, where it tries to do that as well?
Yeah.
Where it tries to be like, oh no, this is actually a message.
There's themes. The themes is don't diddle your kids.
No. They didn't really get into that too much. It's fine. They just showed it.
Well, I guess Kill la Kill doesn't say don't diddle the kids. It says.
I want to point out this is the same people that did that, and then they also did the thing where Yoko wears less clothes when she's underage and wears more clothes when she's of age. It's okay though. The author said, no. You see, the age might not be right because time in the underground they might not be keeping good track. And I'm not a pedophile, guys. Stop calling me a pedophile.
I mean, I just wrote it out to like, what's this character's age? And they're like, oh, 15. And they're like, okay, how? There's no logical sense. They don't look 15. They don't act 15, and they have credentials that could not possibly make them 15. Oh, they're 15.
And then they're like, oh wait, no, actually, when people start pointing out
that's just
what I mentioned,
that's just like the default Japanese response. It's like how old? It's like how old is Zex in Gundam Wing? Oh, he's 19. And why does he talk? Then why does he act and talk like he's a decade older than the other characters?
I legitimately thought Zex until just now was like 26.
No, Zex is 19, and no one is 19. Even though there's a scene where like they talk about how unruly young officers are these days, who are only a year younger than them.
I legit thought he was at least 26.
No.
Oh.
Treize is 26. You're gonna be like, then how does he have a 13-year-old daughter?
Yeah, how?
So, I think you just don't. Everyone's like just automatically add at least 5 years to every anime or JRPG character's age because that's the only way it makes sense.
Except for I don't think that's what he was. Except for I don't think that's what he was going for because he then was like, oh no, they're actually they're older. Yeah. What I'm saying is, I definitely think he might be a bit of a pedophile. Between that and having the mother diddle her daughter, her teenage daughter.
When did that happen in Gurren Lagann?
Not Gurren Lagann. That's Kill la Kill. Same guy made both.
Oh.
Where what's her face goes against Manface. I don't remember their names.
That's fair.
Neither do I.
I remember Ryoko or Ryuko.
Ryuko, yeah.
Whichever is the actual.
Apparently, you don't even remember that name, so yeah.
Yeah, that says a lot. I mean, as I said, I don't really want. There's not really much. We've kind of beaten Kill la Kill to death.
Yeah. I just wanted to
see if Sabo got mad.
I just wanted to make fun of the creator of both. Is all.
I just wanted to see if Sabo got mad at the Gurren Lagann is bad Code Geass comment.
I didn't even process that he was like, oh, it's like Gundam is Code Geass, because who would possibly... How could you be familiar with Code Geass but not Gundam? That makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't get it either, especially when I've told this person, hey, so you know that Code Geass thing you really like? What about this show that is literally what Code Geass is? I'll even be generous and not call it a rip-off, and I'll say it's a send-up to...
By the way, I like how Master Asia like pretty much berates everybody in this game except Sagiri when he first meets her, and it's like, oh no, I like you.
I'm also kind of mad that this acquaintance, once again, not friend, acquaintance, has now played Persona 5, and they don't even, and they got Toshido, and like they literally don't understand the whole joke. I don't know, that kind of annoys me. There are people who get Toshido, and they see all of that, they see all of his shadow form, and like, but they don't get the joke. They're like, ha ha ha, it's Armstrong from Metal Gear Rising. And I'm like, maybe, but it's Shah though. But he's a Shah!
You need to think that a lot of them haven't watched Gundam, or those Gundams.
Well, then they should die!
Huh?
No, I'm sick of being a moderate. I'm taking the hardline stance of fuck people.
Or if they've watched Gundam, they haven't watched UC.
No, this guy has definitely not watched Gundam. And I'm pretty sure another guy, I'm pretty sure Sam has definitely not watched Gundam. So I also know when he got to Shido, he must have also gone, man, that's a weird design, I don't get it. And I'm like, but you don't get it! Stop enjoying this thing you don't understand! You're not doing it right!
I mean, I know for a fact a lot of a number of friends of mine who are not into Gundam don't get the Shido joke. I'm pretty sure.
Well, then they're wrong. I'm sick
I don't really think it's that big of a deal.
I'm sick of being a moderate.
When have you ever been moderate?
Just now. When I got sick of being it.
You never were one. You have to be one to be sick of being one.
I tried it once, never again.
You never tried it. You've always been to the extreme.
Well, maybe if it wasn't, maybe if extreme wasn't also the same word, also like used as a word for being rad. I lived my life to the extreme, Dan.
I don't know how to tell you this, but the 90s have been over for a while now.
No, they haven't. The 90s are the end if you let them end.
The 90s will never end.
I don't know why, but now I'm just imagining you as Slurms fucking Mackenzie.
Totally radical, man.
Slurms Mackenzie is still like one of my favorite fucking things in anything. Especially when he takes off the glasses, he's got the bush eyes.
I always like telling people whenever DMC Devil May Cry comes up, that literally they fucking ripped off the Slurm Factory.
Yeah.
And they don't believe me. And I'm like, but they did though. They literally did. It's the fucking Slurm.
I'm gonna be real with you. Ninja Theory's writing's always been shit, and I don't even think the one that everyone really likes now is that good.
Senwa?
Wait, no, the one about post-traumatic stress.
Yeah, Hellblade Senwa or whatever. It's
oh
called.
yeah, whatever, yeah, that one, yeah. I don't even like that one. And that's like the one everyone's like, oh, this is their best one. Yeah, it's so good. And I'm like, what? Okay.
I'm trying to think what other games Ninja Theory actually did apart from like Heavenly Sword, which was just.
Oh, they did.
bad.
They did. Oh yeah, they. No, they didn't. I forgot. It was actually. I think the last Ninja Gaiden game that came out, the spin-off was made by Inafunen.
You mean Sigma?
Yes.
Oh, not Sigma.
Not Sigma.
Yaiba Z.
Yaiba, yeah.
Yeah, that's a game that certainly happened. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I'll hide it.
I mean, it's just kind of just one of those awful ideas from the game. It's kind of bad that it's basically the Japanese equivalent of Hunt Down the Free Man.
I mean,
it is though. You're playing as some random asshole villain, like Nuke, who gets his ass kicked by main character, and it's like, I'm gonna get Rwengi.
You're not wrong in the slightest, and I hate it.
So I know Gordon Freeman for Ninja Gaiden Yaiba person, whoever. Because it's like, oh, he's gonna hunt down and kill Ryu Hayabusa. It's like, yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm fucking sure he's gonna kill Ryu Hayabusa. Man, remember when Capcom did that shit? With fucking Operation Raccoon City?
Remember when Capcom did that shit? With Chris Redfield?
Resident yeah! And they're like, hunt down the... It's not hunt down the Freeman, it's hunt down the furry.
I'm sorry what I'm gonna say, but I have to. It's for the bit. This is being like right before killing Chris Redfield. He just goes yiff and hell and hits him. All the furry viewers, I'm sorry, but it was right there and I had to.
Hey, we've got nothing against furries. But you know, it's the unfortunate way, and that everyone has to take their lickings at some point.
I see what you're doing.
Well, I didn't say anything.
I'm gonna put Allenby in the ship. She needs a break from this.
Oh, you think Allenby would be upset about talk about furry Chris Redfield?
Well, no, she just needed EN and stuff and was kind of banged up. That's the real reason.
Oh.
Her EN was low. She's low on spirit, and
I'm low on spirit these days, Dan.
we're all a little low on spirit these days.
And if only there was an award-winning comic book writer to do something stupid that we could laugh at.
Not yet. We gotta wait. He's gotta rev up the motorcycle again in order to give us pure gold again. We gotta wait for him to do it.
Yeah. Sadly, we're just sat here waiting for the next time he does something silly, and if it will top muted blackface.
I don't know how he's gonna top it. I don't know how you top that. I don't know if I want to know how you top that.
I mean...
I'm just sad, though, that more people haven't, like, pointed out that that's what they did with him.
I mean, I'm sad at a lot of things that people don't point out. I'm like, am I crazy? I feel like this is what happened.
Like, it's like the thing where people, like, call something racist that isn't, and then I'll look at literal mutant blackface, which is really fucked up given what X-Men are supposed to be a representation of, and I was like, nobody, just me.
Is it really just me? Okay.
It's like that fucking, that Seagal gif. The one of him walking in the room, just looking around. You know the one.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like, that's how I felt with, also the, Ninja Turtles, with Ninja Turtles Michael Bay, because of how they made their faces look.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
It's definitely not Hero Turtles now.
And if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, if Michael Bay didn't do the shit that he did in Transformers movies, like the racist rapping robots, I would be like, no, it's probably just my own imagination. But then he did that.
That's not fair. That you're completely missing the whole thing. They did not rap. There was not one rhyme. They did not spit one rhyme. It was not hot fire coming out of that exhaust. It was just shit.
Not for the lack of trying. That's probably what Michael Bay thought worked.
Man.
You can't even argue that one.
I'm just, you know what, I'm actually horrified at the prospect. Do you know how we now live in this world where people are old enough to have nostalgia for the prequels, and they go, the prequels weren't that bad, and it's like...
You mean like what they're doing these days?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We live in that world now where people are like, yeah, like, the prequels weren't bad. It's like, but, I mean, you're wrong, but okay. Like, I'm horrified that we live in that world, and that there will come a point where we will live in that world, but it will be for Transformers, the movies.
Oh yeah, we will.
And then I'm like, everything, man, maybe we should maybe the next generation does deserve what they're getting now. Fuck them. Like, you know, all my sympathy for the youth goes out the window as soon as, like, oh, the prequels are great. And I'm like, oh, well, you don't deserve
I mean, that became a thing around the time of the Disney trilogy, where people started saying that, and I was just like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, they're not good. If you want to say they're better because they're funny or, you know, just a better film, sort of, sure, whatever. I don't care. They're both shit. But
I've always worked on the argument that even like twisting Darth Vader into being a, you know, whiny little bitch, it still doesn't ruin it still doesn't have the same damaging effect the sequels do, which is that it ruins the original trilogy. Because at the end of the day, the prequels are always saved by the fact that it leads into the original trilogy and all the happy fun times that come from that. The sequels, though, literally can only exist by saying, hey, you know that victory that all our heroes worked so hard for? Yeah, that meant nothing.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, a lot of sequels do that. That's why, like, even good series, I'm like, oh, like it's like time for a sequel. It's like, oh, great. How are they going to screw up what happened this time?
And I can't wait to see how our heroes actually accomplish nothing.
You know, like Gundam Seed, which ended, you know, somewhat satisfactorily despite, you know, all of his problems. You know, but then Destiny happened. And
like
existing.
We can all agree that no matter what we think of Seed Destiny is far worse.
You know, one thing I cringed at the other day was when someone was like, well, you know, the start of Destiny was good, and I just went, Arr.
But yeah, but that only makes it more depressing.
But it wasn't.
I mean, it was better than the rest of the show. It was better than the rest of the show and looked like, oh, maybe this might be cool. And
it's
then,
like when shows lull you into that
wasn't.
false sense. It's like when shows lull you into that false sense of security because you think, hey, this isn't completely dog shit. Maybe it won't be the worst. And then it's like, oh, Mirakuru. Oh no. I say this as if Mirakuru wasn't literally a highlight.
Right. Oh, hi, Mikoto. How you doing? You're not dead.
You know, it's like at least the beginning of Seed Destiny is like, oh, they're actually, you know, animating it, and it doesn't look too bad. Maybe they'll, you know, not just do nothing but stock footage all the time. Oh, never mind.
Hey, Sabo, remember how they made Green Arrow into this mass-murdering psychopath in Season 1, and then they tried to walk that back into making him a no-kill hero like Batman?
Yeah.
It's like, you can't just walk that back.
Well, I like to point out, you didn't watch this long enough to realize this, but I mean, technically they didn't, because even in later shows, he was all like, "I must get my redemption from my dark sins," and like, "What are you?" It's like I thought the show stopped caring about that like years ago.
So
that's why like he had to die at the end, because they're like, because he had to die for all the bad things he did early in his career, and I was like, oh, I'm surprised. I thought you stopped caring about that.
I mean, of all things, the reason he had to die, I thought he had to die because his actor was like, yeah, I'm fucking done now. My contract's up. I want out. Fuck this show.
I like how when he voices Green Arrow in Injustice at least tries to write Green Arrow as closer to Green Arrow. Even Injustice did a better job with Green Arrow. Think about that for a second.
It's like how, well, there was like for 3 episodes in early season 4, you know, before it became the worst season of the entire show, they kind of sort of, this is when he first started calling himself the Green Arrow instead of just the Arrow. And for like 3 episodes, he kind of tries to be like, you know, more like the comic, like making jokes and like stuff like that, but it didn't last very long.
Then they were like,
and they're just like, nope, nah, never mind.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cripple Felicity, right? And then she's gonna become Oracle, and DC's like, fuck no, is she? Get the shit out of here.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I guess she just gets over being crippled then.
I've never seen such disinterest in a plot line that they're really hyped for. We're like, oh, but you can't call her Oracle. And they're like, oh, well.
Oh, fuck
well,
that,
fine then. We won't do anything.
Forget that. We'll just unparalyze her. Okay.
She could just walk again.
You don't respect our vision? Well, it's a good thing we didn't respect anything they wrote anyway.
I think that's around the same time that they added Felicity Smoke to the Green Arrow comic for like 3 issues and then got rid of her forever.
Nobody actually liked her.
Don't you fucking dare. Yeah. But it's fine. DC's dead now anyway. Who cares?
Yeah.
DC's didn't
dead.
die.
DC's super dead. Arrowverse is super dead. It's all over.
DC didn't die. It was murdered. There's your clickbait title.
No, I'm not gonna put that in my fucking thing.
Maybe you should put in your title Wonder Woman raped a man in 2021.
mean, technically not untrue.
I thought we were I only say it because I kind of thought we were past the point of like weirdo rape stuff happening in comics.
Nope.
Like I kind of thought, or comic book related stuff, and I kind of thought the movies will never touch that shit. And granted, it's nowhere near as bad as things like Miss Marvel being raped by her son from the future so he could be born. Yeah, that's weird. We don't talk about that for good reason, because it's just awful.
Yeah.
Or hey, what about Dr. Light? Remember Dr. Light? No, not that Dr. No, not the superhero Dr. Light.
Not the cool lady hero.
The Rape Meister.
Yeah.
He's like the Music Meister, but it's rape.
Hey, remember remember in the Teen
I remember
Titans...
one guy being like, it's like it's his superpower now.
It literally is.
Oh yeah, because he came back. He came back in fucking Dawn of Justice. And was like, I love rape.
He's the
No, Cry for
Justice.
Justice. Not Dawn of Justice. Cry for Justice.
Yeah, he's literally the fucking rapist, but without the subtext.
The one where they killed they killed Speedy's daughter so they could get him addicted to drugs again. That great fucking storyline.
Is that the one with Prometheus in it, or is that?
I don't know.
Because I was talking to someone and we were discussing about why Hush is awful. Well, we were pretty much saying the Joker is the worst now, and just like because every time he's like a self-parody at this point. It's like when you're actually ridiculous enough that you have to have him to prove how dark and weird and creepy and crazy he is, that he cuts his own face off and then staples his face to his bare muscles.
You know,
it's like, actually fuck off. This is garbage.
So, actually, you know what's funny? So overall, I enjoy Fact Fiend videos, but when he was talking about the Joker, he's like, yeah, Joker's a very versatile character. You can kind of do anything. You can make him like, you know, basically like I'm just gonna say basically the Joker, you know, where he has like gags for what he does, or you do what you just described there. And I'm like, no, that's a problem. They shouldn't be doing shit like that. It doesn't work.
Well, because like I've said before, the problem with basically trying to. And I do think that part of this is also like the fault of the Killing Joke being what it is, because every time you try and like out Killing Joke the Joker, it just becomes farcical.
Yeah.
Like, and I get it. It's like, yeah, the Killing Joke was this big thing where the Joker did something that was like that was like insanely cruel and vicious and evil. But it's like the more and more you pile onto it, the more actually ridiculous and stupid that he stops being this kind of believable psychopath and just becomes a Saturday morning cartoon villain who just has consequences, but not really consequences because it's comic books. There's no such thing as, you know, lasting impact because unless you're Uncle Ben, you ain't staying dead. Some asshole will resurrect you.
Or, unless you're Uncle Ben, or like... The only way you have a chance at possibly staying dead is also if you're like a really obscure character that nobody liked.
Like Sentry.
Or...
No, but I think even the obscure characters will always come back. Uncle Ben is so far the only
Call me
one
when Fever comes back.
Man, so did you see that there was like you remember that back when Amazing Spider-Man was a thing? Sony was going to do a Black Cat Silver Sable movie. And you're wondering, I bet you're wondering to yourself, why that pairing? Because they've never met in comic book. That's a good question, Dan.
Wait, Silver Saber and hold on, run that by me again?
Silver Sable and Black Cat were going to get a duo movie in the Amazing Spider-Man universe.
Yeah, those two don't really interact.
Well, of course they don't. They're like... they have like the only thing they have to do to each other is their passing connection to Spider-Man.
And they both have silver hair.
Yeah, but I mean, comic books are basically anime. Having weird hair doesn't count.
Right.
Like, come on, you could just see like 60s Spider-Man, but he's got Yugi hair.
Yugi.
His Grandpa Moto is just the anime version of Uncle Ben.
Except for the fact that he didn't die.
I'm not dead, Yugi. I'm still here. I can still hear his voice. I'm right here.
He basically died. He never did anything again.
Why does everyone ignore Grandpa Yugi?
But yeah, so Joker is just kind of awful. But then, like, the problem is other Batman villains that are popular are also awful. Like Hush. Hush is the worst.
Yeah.
I hate Hush. Like, Hush is garbage, and I don't understand why he's popular. Like, his whole backstory is literally, man, I hate the man, your father saved my parents' life, and that stopped me getting the inheritance, and I hate you. And I hate you for it, Bruce. And Bruce is like, oh, I can't believe it, my friend from so long ago is evil. And I'm like, this is literally this fucking DCAU version of the Two-Face plot. Which, admittedly, is most of Batman. Is most of modern Batman. Is just, let's just do Batman the Animated Series plots, but worse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but worse or bad.
And then you think, okay, but he's just evil Batman, you know, fine. And then they made Prometheus. And Prometheus is also the fucking worst. Because his whole shtick is his parents were criminals, and then they were shot and killed by cops. So now he's a cop killer. And it's like, it's just dumb. Like, it's just, what if Batman was evil? It's like, you already did that. It's called Batman.
No, Bruce Wayne is the biggest good in the universe.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, I think the Joker is trite and garbage these days, and has been for a long time. And I definitely think, like, and I think Hush has always been trite and garbage. Like, I don't think Hush has ever been good. And people who say otherwise are liars.
Bring back the Calendar King. Oh wait, no, that's Clock King. Calendar Man and Clock King.
Yeah. Well, they did bring back Calendar Man, but then they made him into a weirdo serial killer.
Oh.
Do you know who they could bring back? Gentleman Ghost.
Yes.
Now there's a classy lad.
Anyway, the map's finished, the cutscene's over.
It's time to leave.
It's time to leave.
Time to leave.
Bye.